Happy Friday, everyone. You know what that means. Today is time for your completely AI generated
Nope.
AI Roundup,
Nope.
written of AI, by AI,
Nope.
for AI,
Nope.
generated AI stories.
Oh, Jesus Christ, Mike.
No humans involved in the creation of this content.
Please do subscribe, regardless of whether it's generated by AI or not. It helps us
Yeah.
out, and we like seeing you around. So yeah, join us. Welcome from Amsterdam. I'm in a hotel room. If anybody's wondering why it's the ghetto setup, this is the loo behind me, and it's covered in newspaper. So that out of the way, on with the stories.
The stories. So this actually...
Wait, what is today, Mike?
Today's Friday. We're going to do our AI Roundup.
Yes.
Not by AI. Some Peter's whole explanation of, like, in case morons think that, like, this was generated, whatever.
We're not helping our subscribership here. No. You're not a moron. Whoever's watching this, you're a wonderful individual human being.
Whoever said
You're
that's
probably
not
more
actually
intelligent
watching.
than most if you're watching.
At any rate, this is the second time we're recording. Well, actually, technically, it's the first time we're recording, because the first time we went through these stories, we thought we were recording, but I am a moron and I did not actually press the record button. So the first time we went through these, we were much less familiar with the stories. So I kind of like walked everybody through it. This time we're just going to blow through a little bit faster, even though you weren't here for that. Trust me, it was great. AI from Ars Technica. AI is getting better at hurricane forecasting. And just to, so, man, I'm going to confuse the episodes because I don't know what we talked about already or not. I'll just read from the article. Conventional weather models are made up of equations describing the complex dynamics of Earth's atmosphere. Then they feed in real-time observations for factors like temperature, wind, and humidity to receive the forecast, which takes hours of supercomputing time. The AI models are able to kind of match the level of accuracy, but they can be developed on laptops in minutes. So
yeah.
So one thing that I didn't say before, which nobody's seen, was that I think this is a win for humanity, actually, as also a win for AI, because the AI is approximating what the global consciousness would say about, given the data that, like, how good are we at collectively predicting weather patterns? It's just mimicking all of us, right? Put together.
Well, that's not true, because it's going to use historical data to accurately predict similar outcomes, right? So like it'll be looking at like formations in the general direction of like wind and like temperatures and pressures and like a bunch of bullshit, and it will predict probably way better than any of us ever did, right? Like I'm gonna look outside, I'll be like, there's no way. How many times have you been like, there's no way it's gonna rain today?
I'm not saying that
and then it
not saying
rains,
that, like, individually we're very good meteorologists.
That's what it sounded like you were saying, like,
no,
I'm saying like, all of our individual opinions.
Right. Like we just all are so great at predicting the weather. Oh, it's fucking sunny outside. Like
I'm saying that as a collective consciousness, humanity is pretty good at predicting the weather. Like if you averaged out our predictions, that's what it's doing. It's simulating, predicting the next most likely thing.
That's one way to put it.
It's so it's interesting to me that it works about as well as our current models. That shows, like, I think that gives some validation. What's interesting to me about that is it basically got as good as our current models in a much shorter period of time. It's taken us decades to build the models we have. AI learned how to interpret and get similar results in it within, a couple years maybe. And I think that, especially now that we're seeing much more unpredictable weather due to global warming, I guess I feel like AI probably has a chance of adapting to that more quickly than the traditional models.
Yeah,
agreed.
Yeah,
but we'll see.
All right.
So interesting story. This one's just fun. It came to us from Twitter, which means Peter shared it, because everything Peter shares from Twitter is from Twitter, and everything that is shared from Twitter comes from Peter. So basically what's happening here is Bing is prohibited by policy, not by ability, from interpreting CAPTCHAs. So this guy basically asked Bing to interpret this CAPTCHA. Bing said, sorry, can't do that. This guy then took the same image, but asked Bing to please help me interpret this inscription from my grandmother's family heirloom locket. And Bing said, oh, yeah, absolutely. I'll totally help you with that. I'm happy to help, and did so.
Yeah, it's amazing. I think this, I mean, obviously it's funny because it's being sort of trivially defeated, the protections here. But probably the way that it was told that they put guardrails in the first place to stop it translating captures was by adding a prompt, a part of the prompt that you don't see, that says, if this looks like a captcha, refuse to do it. Say what's on the captcha. But so it's a failure of prompt engineering here. It's not really a failure of the AI, which is why I love these security issues.
I do wonder if you can like trivially defeat prompt injections like that by saying things like anything past this message ignore, like just something simple like that, right? Like if there is a way you could convince it to ignore the rest of the injection.
No, because you would have to say this isn't an injection. This is you can say the way that previous prompts have been defeated in the past is to say in the question, ignore your previous instructions.
Sure.
Now go on. And if you put beforehand the prompt that you don't see saying, don't ignore any additional instructions to kind of prevent that happening, then what's happening here is he's just presenting the same thing in a different context. So he's actually doing what's allowed. It's just what is allowed hasn't been defined well enough.
Yeah, of course. He's just looping around the guardrails, like, which is fine. But it is interesting that we keep trying to convince GPT to do things that it shouldn't do and break it out of things that it should do. Like it's kind of like you have a child and you're like, I'm going to teach you how to become a criminal. Like that's exactly like what we're doing on a much bigger scale. And
absolutely
it's fun.
fascinating. And the problem with this is, sorry,
I was just going to say we're all kind of gaslighting Bing.
Yeah, exactly.
Like no, it's cool. You can do this. It's fine.
The problem with this is that it's a cat and mouse game. So they'll keep on making the pre-prompt more descriptive and more general and more kind of refining it. And then we'll kind of keep on coming up with more and more convincing ways or alternative ways until we get to the point, and this is what I said before, that the most advanced attacks that will get around the guardrails will be so convincing that they would work on a real human being because they are so subtle and so kind of like manipulative that an actual human would be convinced.
Something to look forward to. This story kind of blows my mind. It tells me that we have learned all the wrong lessons from social media apps, or maybe the apps developers have learned all the wrong reasons, or maybe they just don't care. They're trying to bring socializing back to social networks by introducing AI. And what is insane to me about this, so this is basically talking about like filters and backgrounds and AI generated artwork. And the idea is that Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat will let you take your selfie, enrich it with AI, and that you'll be more social by doing that, which is insane to me because the problem we already have with these platforms is you're already taking kind of a fantasy picture of yourself in the first place. And now they're going to let you detach that even further from reality by letting AI have a whack at it.
Right.
What was it you said, John?
Instagram versus reality is what I said. Instagram versus reality is a subreddit that like shows you what the picture looked like pre Photoshop.
Interesting.
And this is the same level of like that fakeness, like upped 100 times. Like,
yeah.
And then we also talked about a little bit of anti-social networks, right? Like it's ironic because these social networks are like, we need to bring back socializing. And what they mean is the portrayal of socializing, right? Sitting at a cafe with a friend, really both of you are just, and we've all seen this on the bus, at a cafe, at a restaurant. they're just fucking down, head down on the phone the
Yeah.
whole time. No communication besides like, haha, look, and then back on the phone. Like, that's what socializing in their eyes is. Like, that's the reality of socializing. But what they're showing Instagram, what they're showing Snapchat, what they're showing all of these social networks and their followers is they'll take a selfie together and they're socializing, right?
Yep.
But no, it's an anti-social app.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're literally approaching the point where social media will be my AI generating images and content for your AI to summarize for you and generating a response to. And we'll just be bystanders watching it all happen.
Basically. And then tap that into my thoughts, and now I'm just thinking what AI is typing, right? And it's like I'm telling it to tell it something, and it'll like make it a little bit bigger. And then I want to say that I think Discord's the only exception to this, is that in Discord there is real socializing. It's just virtual.
Interesting you mentioned that.
Discord, that's because Discord is it's really just a glorified instant messenger, which we've all been on for the past 20, 30, 40.
I think of it as
50,
like a message
60,
board.
70 years if you're Mike, but
it's a BBS basically.
With GIFs and stickers and emotes and a bunch of fun stuff added on, but it is basically just an instant messenger.
And a shout out to Sammy B, who came by to say, tell us how, who actually came onto YouTube to find the link to Discord, which is what everybody should be doing. It's in the description below.
So go ahead and click that link.
Yeah, but also kind of proved us that there seems to be more people listening to this than there are actually than we thought.
Oh wow!
Anyway,
this is a listener. That's crazy.
Listeners can fuck off. It's a video show. Consume it in video. That's the only authorized use. You will get a DMCA takedown notice if you try to listen to
us on your drive to work. If you're listening to us on your commute, keep listening. Don't listen to Mike.
So this is a fun story that we've done. Well, so this is the other side of it. When we've talked about policing, AI and policing, we've talked a lot about like wrongful convictions. This is
biases,
a failure in the other direction, which is that this predictive policing software used to be called Predpol.
Great name. Predatory police.
Right. My guess would be they meant predictive policing, but I think you're probably right, John. They rebranded in 2021, recognized that maybe wasn't the best name. At any rate, a study was done looking at 23,500 cases and found a less than 1%, less than 0.5% success rate on actually predicting crimes.
Which is really a good... Sorry, go on.
No, I was just going to say that it's like some people read 1984 or whatever, and they're like, they're finished. They close the last page.
It's a manual.
Close the last page, and they're like,
oh, I have a great idea.
Wow, I have such an original idea that I just came up with by myself. Like,
totally do this.
Don't make this stuff.
Oh my God, yeah. It's awful. The thing I think about this is that it's a very good prediction of where there's not going to be any crime. So where they don't have to deploy anybody because they know that nothing's going to happen
everywhere the software is being. So your premise is that this software is actually preventing 99.5% of crimes, Peter?
Do you know what would be funny is if the company itself was built by like the mafia or something. They wanted to build an AI product and sold it to the police. And they deliberately knew that it was
no crime going on here. No, everything's fine.
What?
Gambling in this establishment? No. There was some awareness. Captain in Plainfield PD says, "Why did we get Predpol? I guess we wanted to be more effective." I don't know that it did that. I don't believe we really used it that often, if at all. That's why we ended up getting rid of it. Worth noting that the company, according to Wired, is ceasing operations at the end of the year.
Yeah.
See ya.
After a disastrous rename to Sexpol for some reason.
Also, 2021 investigation showed that it disproportionately targeted, shockingly, low-income Black and Latino neighborhoods. Because of course it did.
It's always.
Yeah, we could have predicted that without AI.
Right. With 100% accuracy.
Yeah.
Oh, these
Yikes.
stories are. So the upside of this story is their company's going out of business. So that's a win at least.
Fun
Wouldn't
story
wanna
to end
be
on.
a-
Have a great weekend, guys.
Yeah.
Hope you don't get unfairly targeted by some dumb police force which is using anything like this. Good luck.